transfer, senior, graduate, 6-year, whatever you want to call him, Redmond Walsh.
Was there any doubt that you would not come back after last season?
No, after the feeling of Omaha and just sitting with them, it's the easiest decision I would make. I would have regretted it not coming back with, all the talent we had coming in, the guys, and just be able to be a leader. Just so much turnover from last year. I just felt like I owed it to them, and me, Luke, and Russ had kind of talked about it. We all owed it to the staff and to the team just to come back and kind of be have another year where we can impact the team, but also kind of turn over a new leaf where the players from my first year, my second year, are kind of gone and leaving, and then kind of have a new people to take place and kind of take leadership.
Does this team feel like last year's team, or does it feel different, the vibe, personality?
It's always, every year's different. It just depends on the guys. You kind of see about midway what kind of team you have, but you can always tell vibes are really good, characters are great. It's different vibes than last year, but it's all good vibes. So
going off that, is there more excitement this year than years past, considering the success of last season?
I think it's always more. You kind of get to Omaha last year and you don't do your best, and I think everybody now kind of knows what to expect, and we get there, we're going to make a run. You go back to 2019, we lose in a regional, we lose in a game one of Hoover, and then we kind of see what we learned from there, and that's the kind of program that Coach V and Frank and all of them is one that's resilient, that we get there and we kind of see what it's like, but now there's nothing that can surprise us. We're ready for any task that's ahead of us.
You've seen a lot of pitchers come in here through the years. How different is it seeing guys like Chase Burns and Chase Dolander walk in here?
It's unreal. Joyce's changeup's faster than my best fastball, so it's the first time that you don't have big league staffs that have 5 guys that can touch 100 mile per hour, and it's just unreal, the talent and how confident these guys are in themselves. That's the part that blew my mind more than their stuff, was just they believe in how they can pitch and getting outs, and I think that's bigger than just the numbers themselves.
How can you be a leader to those guys this season?
It's just kind of walking them through and kind of helping them believe in themselves. Like I said, those guys are more talented than I could ever be, and for them it's just getting the reps and just having confidence in themselves. I don't think there's going to be a better staff in the country than those guys, and it's just going to be fun to watch them and be able to pitch behind them.
Looking ahead at this weekend, is there a specific plan for you, or is it just kind of based on the situation?
It's all based on the situation. I think it's how it's going to be all year. It's kind of how Coach Vitale has been since I've been here. It's situational, be ready for anything. One week you might be a starter, next week you might be closing, and vice versa. It's just, that's kind of the game plan for us is next task up. So
outside of you and Kirby and Camden, who are those other guys in the bullpen that have kind of taken that next step over the offseason?
There's a lot of guys. You have people like Jake Fitzgibbons. You have guys like Sewell who can start, who can come out of the bullpen. There's just a lot. It's really not. There's not a handful of guys. There's a bunch of guys that could do it, and I don't know what the role is going to be for anybody. Ben Joyce is another guy. Just kind of up in the air. It's just going to be, game's going to dictate it, matchups, and all that.
Are there young arms other than Burns that have stood out?
Oh yeah, for me, one of my favorite guys, White Evans. He's a tall lefty, just heavy fastball, and I think he'll definitely have an impact this year out of the pen. Maybe some midweek stuff. Drew Beam's another one. Kind of came in with just recovering off of Tommy John. And you could see over Christmas the progression he's made. He went from 90 to touching 95 and just being really effective for us. So there's a bunch of young arms out there that could have a huge impact this year.
Last year, you guys had the walk-off in the first series against Georgia Southern. That felt like that kind of set the tone for the season. Is it important to kind of try to set the tone this weekend?
It always. The first weekend is just for a lot of guys, just a big point. You get your first action against another team. You get tired of kind of playing the Vols every weekend, scrimmages and stuff. And for a lot of younger players, it's huge just to kind of get that momentum rolling for the season. It helped guys like Liam Spence last year. He's the guy that hit the grand slam against them, and you can kind of see that throughout the season he was hot almost from that series on, and ended up batting 400 to the last week of SEC. So, no, for a lot of guys it is, and I think it's just something that we'll just keep persevering, and I think it'll be a good weekend for us.
How different is it to be in uniform and not be right next to the locker with Pete Durkay or Will Heflin?
Oh, that's the biggest difference. You play your whole career with those guys. Heflin, I haven't played before, and just kind of not being there every day with them. I still talk to them a lot, but it's weird not seeing Pete Durkay in a Tennessee baseball uniform. I'll say that.
I would imagine so. And what's it like now to have Jackson as the volunteer assistant as well as Ricky Martinez back on the staff? I mean, you almost have more teammates on the staff than you do playing with him.
No, that's the best part. Me and Richard had a great relationship. He was my throwing partner my second year here, and it's awesome to have somebody you can go to, even with stuff outside of baseball. He's kind of like my guy for everything. If I have a problem outside of baseball, family, friends, he's the first person I call, and he's kind of the same way. So it's awesome to have guys like that as players you can go to for anything.
And as coursework goes, I mean, you've got your degree. What are you working on now, and what are the demands from that next level?
So I wanted to do something where it'd benefit me. I didn't want to do a kind of a boring major, so I ended up doing a certificate program that's going to allow me to teach engineering later on. So hopefully Professor Walsh is the next thing you'll be calling me.
Couple more for Redmond. Any more? All right. Thanks, Redmond.
Perfect. Thank y'all.
Thank you.